Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm not doing a live video today. We had an electrician in the house all day doing some upgrades to the electricity, so we just got Wi-Fi back, so the game's been over for a little while, so I wanted to do a short recap. Unfortunately, the Yankees lost 4-3 in the second game of the series against Baltimore. They won 4-3 yesterday, they lost 4-3 today. You know, I had a bad feeling today too. They're like being no hit into the seventh, and I'm like, oh my god! If I have to do a video about the Yankees being no hit, I'm not gonna be happy, man. But thankfully that didn't happen. But nevertheless, Jordan Montgomery started. He went 4 2/3. Looks like he was at almost 100 pitches in the fifth inning, so they took him out at 97. 6 hits. He gave up a run, and 1 run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He pitched pretty well. He just didn't give distance. He didn't give enough length. And they brought in Clay Holmes. Had a clean inning again. He's looking pretty good. Only threw 50. What do you call it? And he actually 1.1 innings, and he had 4 strikeouts. So every out he got was a strikeout. So domination. Wandy Peralta came in the second game in a row. Didn't really have it, unfortunately. Pitched the third, gave up 4 hits and 2 runs, and that's where it kind of blew open. And we'll go over that shortly. Then Lucas Licky came in, threw an inning and 2/3. Actually, a clean inning and 2/3. 29 pitches. He had a walk and a strikeout, but he kept the Orioles at bay. And then Chapman came up in the ninth and gave up a run, unfortunately, the deciding run. And that was kind of the difference in the game, unfortunately. I mean, in terms of how the game played out, Baltimore struck first in the 4th inning. You know, Trey Mancini it was a wild pitch, actually. He scored on a wild pitch, making 1-0 in the 4th. Then it was just 1-0 until the 7th, actually. In the 7th, Cedric Mullins hit a double to drive in Jones, an RBI double to make it 2-0. And then Austin Hayes had an infield single, which actually drove Cedric Mullins in to make it 3-0. And then it was in the bottom of the 7th, Gleyber Torres broke up the no-hitter on an infield single and scored Anthony Rizzo on it. Brett Gardner did move up to second, but that was what they had done. At that point, it was 3-1. But then the clutch hitter of the game was Joey Gallo in the bottom of the 8th, came up and hit a 2-run home run to tie the game at 3, scoring him and DJ LeMahieu. So he was the player of the game on the Yankees side who hit that key home run. Unfortunately, Chapman wasn't able to hold it down in the 9th, and Pedro Severino sacrificed fly to left, and Ryan Mountcastle tagged up and scored, unfortunately, and that's how it remained 4-3. The Yankees didn't do anything in the bottom of the 9th. So, unfortunately, you know, it was a loss today, and the Orioles give the Yankees fits. I mean, you know, these games are so... Yankees work so much harder these last 2 games than they really need to. The Baltimore should be a much easier team to beat, but I didn't think the Yankees, for some reason, I didn't think the Yankees were going to sweep them. They have one more game. I hope they win the series, but before they have to play Toronto for 4 games. But these are the types of games that the Yankees should be winning, and that's the bottom line. You know, and unfortunately, the hottest guys like Judge and Stanton, they were both. I'm looking at the box score here. They're 0-4 today, unfortunately. So. Yeah, pretty much there was nobody really got hits. DJ got a hit, Gallo got a hit, and Gleyber Torres got a hit. Three whole hits. And that was it for the offense for the Yankees. And relatively low-scoring game, and unfortunately they came out on the losing side of it. You know, and again, Stanton and Judge are not going to be hot every game, but it was good to see Gallo get a clutch hit. Hopefully this helps him, gives him a little bit more confidence, even though I'd still like to see him just manufacturing more runs across the board, driving guys over, singles, walks, things like that. And he walks a lot, but he also strikes out way too much while he's waiting to hit these home runs. So I'd like to see some more singles and doubles out of him, just driving dudes in, just some small ball, some regular baseball. And we need some more of that out of a lot of guys in this lineup. And again, the Yankees were just shut down today, unfortunately. So it happens. They lost. They're going to have to move on to the next game. If they win the series tomorrow and then win the series against Toronto, you know, they'll be okay. And we'll get to Toronto. We'll focus on Toronto when they get here. We've got one more game against the Orioles tomorrow, and the Yankees should win that game. So they better win that game. But that's the recap today, and you know, it's unfortunate, but that's the way the Yankees lineup is constructed. Again, they don't have really like a true leadoff hitter. And I don't necessarily mean prototypical, but like just an actual leadoff hitter, guy that kind of creates havoc in a lot of different ways. Gets on base, whether a walk or a hit, and steals bases, and just is a smart base runner and stuff. I mean, they have guys who could play leadoff, even a Tyler Wade if he plays more often. He's considered a Greg Allen. Guys like this, so they do kind of fit the profile of a leadoff hitter, but we can find a leadoff hitter that has, more Brian Reynolds type stats, and I keep talking about him because I really like him for the Yankees, but I don't know that they're going to ever get him. They're going to have to give up a boatload, but I would be all over that guy in the offseason if I were Brian Cashman, trying my darndest to get him. But that said, I mean, Judge and Stanton have been relatively hot, and they have been hot since Gallo and Rizzo came here. And keep in mind too, not only does that alternating right left kind of balance help across the board, but this is the thing too. Like you're not going to want to face Rizzo, so sometimes you're going to have to pitch to Judge. You're not going to want to face Gallo, so sometimes you got to pitch to Stanton. So it creates more hitting opportunities now for those guys, Judge and Stanton, than it did before. Whereas before you could have just walked them where they had trouble. So now you've got 4 guys, and then if you add Luke Voigt in there, who's hot, who's getting hot, you add Torres if he starts hitting well, DJ, like it creates a pretty well balanced and a very difficult lineup. So it's still constructed a little strange, I think. It's again, we need a table setter at the top of it, which we don't have. But the lineup is better than it was before with the addition of Gallo and Rizzo. So I do want to point that out. And but nevertheless, it's still like you could see, they still should be winning more games like these. They shouldn't struggle so much against the worst teams in baseball, but they're struggling a lot against the worst teams in baseball this year. So that's something the Yankees definitely need to work on. And cutting down on strikeouts and leaving guys on base as well. These are things that they need to work on. So, but that's the recap. Unfortunately, guys, 4-3 loss for the Yankees, and they're tied 1-1 in the series. Got one more tomorrow. Let's close it out, boys. And I'll be back tomorrow night or after the game tomorrow for a live discussion. Now that I'm up and running with Wi-Fi again. So, and again, sorry for missing out on the live one today, but had to get that stuff done. So, because we're getting an addition put on this house. But enjoy the night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.